what happens in New Orleans stays in New Orleans. I think that might be a runner-up place for Vegas, with potentials of drinking so much and going out so much. Hi YouTube fam, it's me again. I've made a return and I'm here to talk about my New Orleans trip. So I want to walk you through things you should maybe know about New Orleans before you go, and I'm going to be putting on my makeup, so follow me through this video if you're interested in any of that. New Orleans was such a dream, I cannot lie. From the strong culture to the amount of fun that you can have, good food, all that fried food, child. Now, I'll tell you about this for myself. I was supposed to be having my Princess and the Frog moment in 2020, and then 2020 happened to me. So I had to put that whole idea on pause. But this last trip for me, I really got to go and enjoy NOLA, enjoy that hot weather, even though now we're in fall, so it's cold outside, and just really have a wonderful time. The honest first thing that you should know is how much Hurricane Katrina affected New Orleans. We were talking to an Uber driver. He was still telling us about how he's still financially recovering from the hurricane, how much it affected his family. We saw a lot of construction, and when you go there, just be sure that things are different from what they used to be. Maybe if you've been before, prior to that, or if you've never been at all, things are a lot different for the people there and for the way that it looks. Expect conversations about that and educate yourself about that. Something else you should know is at night, people get drunk and the city smells like it. People were performing, the streets were so lively, and everyone in that city was having a good time for sure. They tried to maintain the cleanliness of the city. And like, it was warm enough to do sandals, but I would not do that because it smelled like people were throwing up all on the streets. Everywhere you go, there's a little bit of history. We went to this area and it was like on the riverfront, and it was a port for slaves. Usually when there was somewhere with very rich history, there was some knowledgeable person or some knowledgeable sign that you could read and find out where you were at. I also actually visited a voodoo shop. I was hesitant to go in the first place, but I was with the only person that I probably know that would ever step foot in one of those with me, and we were both curious, so we went in there. It was basically the shop that I did not take any videos of, because I am not taking any videos of that. I don't need that living on my phone or being carried from New Orleans all the way to New York. It's not happening. Like, it was like dark ambiance and music was playing, but the music sounded like a person chanting. There were multiple altars set up. You could read about voodoo kings and queens and where the terms voodoo and hoodoo came from. Like Madame Laveau, I think is her name, or Madame Laveau from American Horror Story. That's the only reason that I knew about that name in general. And visiting the voodoo shop was a bit, it was a questionable choice, but I enjoyed the experience I had walking around there literally like this and not touching anything and just reading things. But we did go into like one of those excursion places just to see how much they were pricing things. Now you can call people on the phone and negotiate prices. This is literally a clip of a swamp tour that we went to. It costs, what, $30? And they tried to advertise it as $60 in the excursion place, so don't get scammed. The main reason that I went to New Orleans was to see the mother, the queen, Beyonce. Get loose. Oh, I love that performance, Beyonce. Thank you so much for doing that. I was so happy to see the first Black woman to beat Grammy record after having 3 children and serve visuals, performance, vocals, choreography. Everyone up there slayed. I loved it so much, and if you missed it, then I feel so bad for you. So I'm gonna let you watch this little clip and enjoy this little snippet. You should go see the movie for AMC. I don't even know if I'm gonna do that because the ticket was so fucking expensive, and I already paid for 2 concerts. This is the second one that I went to, but Enjoy. But continuing on to the rest of our New Orleans vlog. Had beignets literally every day. I gained weight from that good food, fried food every day. Probably not the best for my health, the health of my body, overall everything in my body. Probably not the best decision that I made, but I knew when I went there I was going to be trying things that are different, and I wanted to try a little bit of everything. Walked around Bourbon Street, of course, day and night, and walking around that city at night, I saw some hammered people. Some of y'all were living it up. When we went to bars and clubs, there were usually live performances, there were spots for karaoke. Like, we could really had options of things to do. People that we met, like the locals, people born and raised there, were so nice, and you want to ask them for recommendations of things to do while you're there, not just the touristy trap places. Anyways, if you're from New Orleans, leave a comment about your life growing up in New Orleans. I'm curious. And as far as food recs go, for me, I'll leave the couple of the places that I'd recommend when I went there in the description box. If you've been to New Orleans and you have any recommendations, because I'm definitely going to be going again, comment them. This is like a wedding that we saw while we were there, and I guess this is just something that they do in New Orleans, is celebrate life, death, marriage, love. And that's probably why the people are so nice, because they have all these traditions and are part of a strong community. So I can imagine that growing up there might be something truly magical. So all in all, if the question is, would I go back to New Orleans? The answer is undoubtedly yes. I would go there to party, I would go there to learn, I would go there to explore, I would go there to meet new people. I mean, all in all, I had a really good first experience there, so I will be going back soon. This was my very hotel experience, so I would love to go there and sort of stay in a neighborhood and sort of see what that's like. I know people be scared of New Orleans, but I also know people be scared of Detroit, and that's where I'm from. So anytime you're going somewhere foreign, you're gonna be scared, and you have to get over it and you have to learn, or else you can be scared and not go, and that's not me. But thank you for watching this video all the way to the end. If you did, let me know where the next place that you're traveling to is. Are you gonna add New Orleans on the list because of this video? Next place for me was DC, which that trip already passed. I just gotta make the video for it so you can see, hold me accountable, and I'll see y'all again. Bye.